I'm gonna do this quick video with no script whatsoever and just kind of covering what's been happening with Counter-Strike. As many of you have already heard, Counter-Strike's skins economy has kind of just gone down the shitter. Valve pumped out a new update that allowed almost anyone with just a few items to convert relatively cheap items into gloves and knives, which, for those who are unaware, those are the most valuable items in Counter-Strike, usually going for hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, even probably some ridiculous numbers like 100,000 or something like that. Point is, gloves and knives are the most valuable items in Counter-Strike. And now, because of Valve's new update, almost anyone can convert cheaper items into those, thus causing this gigantic skins economy crash. People's lives have legitimately been ruined by this update. It is not an exaggeration to say that, in my opinion, across the entire gaming industry, across the entire gaming world, in fact, Counter-Strike's skins economy is probably the biggest there is. Maybe second only to Roblox, assuming that they even have some sort of skins economy. I can't comment on that. I've never played Roblox in my fucking life. But if Roblox had something similar to Counter-Strike where you were able to freely trade and make your own economy and place your own value onto things, then maybe it might rival it. But as it stands right now, Counter-Strike is the biggest game in the gaming world that has its own economy that is self-regulating. And now, because of Valve's monumental update, that economy has just been completely gone. It's completely thrown out of whack. There are actually suicide prevention links being posted in some of these Counter-Strike skins subreddits and stuff, because people have legitimately lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions of dollars. Because, unsurprisingly, Counter-Strike is not only Valve's most played game, even more so than Dota, but it is also one of the sources of the biggest skins casinos in the world. There is tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars invested into this entire economy, which, by the way, Valve has nothing to do. You can say that Valve is complicit in the sense of them not regulating any of this, the Counter-Strike MTX market, but Valve didn't necessarily endorse this. It's just something that happens when your game has access to Steam markets and can regulate its own economy. Anyway, the point is, this update threw all of that in the garbage can. And now people are scrambling, not knowing what to do with their Counter-Strike inventories. Now, this part might be a little divisive and a little controversial, because some people are saying that this is a good thing. I actually completely agree. I think it is a good thing. Now, I am somewhat biased when I say this, despite being called the Valve guy, because I play Counter-Strike very casually. I enjoyed Counter-Strike the most back in the Counter-Strike Source days and early on in CSgo's time. And even when I did play CSgo relatively later into its life, I played it for the game. I loved it for the game, not because of these stupid skins. And honestly, the skins is probably one of the reasons that left the biggest, just sour taste in my mouth, because it ruins the fun. It ruins the purity of the game. Don't get me wrong, microtransactions can definitely help a game for sure. But at the end of the day, that's all microtransactions are. It's just little trophies for the player for sticking around. They don't really impact the game. They don't make your ability to shoot better. It's just trophies. That's all they are. And believe me, I'm no stranger to this. I've played Dota for a long time. My Dota inventory is probably worth, close to a few grand. Maybe. I don't know. I legitimately don't know how much my Dota 2 inventory is worth. Nowhere near as much as some of these Counter-Strike guys. But the point is, because of regulations now being done in the EU and just in the world in general about microtransactions, loot boxes, and just virtual goods in general, it's very bad optics for Valve, I think. With people cracking down on this stuff, I guess Valve wanted to get the ball rolling early, get ahead of this problem, be a little proactive. And if they were able to implement this change before they dug themselves deeper into the MTX hole that they've always been in, then I guess it's a good thing. By the way, apologies for the background noise. Like I said, I'm just recording this in one sitting, in one go with no script. That's my steak sizzling in the background, so I'm gonna enjoy myself after this one. Can't say the same for Counter-Strike, bros. And don't get me wrong, and don't mistake me here. There are a lot of people who play Counter-Strike, people who play it like it's their forever game. There's a lot of them, and I know a lot of them, who don't give three shits about MTX, about the skins, right? And honestly, that's what I can enjoy, because Counter-Strike, it's the chess of gaming. It doesn't change, and that's a good thing. So now, like, people, unfortunately, have to play the game for the game. There's a lot of these gamers, and this isn't exclusive to Counter-Strike, but it happens most often in Counter-Strike. A lot of them will just play a game, or no, sorry, they don't play the game. They're just there for the economy, to make money. This happens with Counter-Strike most predominantly, but I've seen it happen in TF2 and Dota as well. I know people who have spent their life, their hard-earned cash, gambling in Dota 2 items, and who have lost damn near everything. And to me, that just lowers these incredibly rich games that Valve has made. Like, these are some of the deepest games you can play out there. Some of the deepest, most mechanically dense games, most rewarding games. And all they're being treated as just a skin casino, as just a place for you to make money. It's just kind of gross. How would you feel if your favorite video game was reduced to a little money-making cow, to a little piggy bank for these guys? I don't know. It's because for that reason, while this is monumental news for sure, the Counter-Strike skins economy is crashing before our eyes. I also at the same time don't really mind it all that much. I do think in the long term it is a good thing. Right now, it is catastrophic. This is an unprecedented move by Valve for sure. Time will only tell what will happen to the entire economy by tomorrow. We legitimately don't know. But I will say, if there's nothing else that you can take away from this video, this is a good thing in the long term. This shows that Valve, while they made their money, for sure they made their money out of all of this all this stuff. In fact, I don't even think they made a lot of it, because a lot of these third-party websites, Valve doesn't get a cut from that. But I don't think that's Valve's main motivating factor. I just think that they wanted to remove this perception that Counter-Strike is seen as this, I don't know, it's such an eyesore. When you go onto YouTube and you look up Counter-Strike, and if you ignore all the pro plays and the tournaments and the guides and stuff, almost all other Counter-Strike content is related to skins. It's either going to be casino or a gambling thing or a case unboxing. It's such a sad thing to see such a rich game like Counter-Strike reduced to Oonga Boonga, I'm going to open the case and see what I get. And don't get me wrong, that can still happen. People will still do that. But now the incentive is far less, because, well, if you open up a case and you get a knife, who cares? And I think for the long-term health of this game, it's going to lose players, for sure, because a lot of the skin bros are going to leave. But again, it's a good thing long-term, and I would prefer it to be that way. Dota doesn't necessarily have a knife or a glove equivalent. There are skins that are worth a lot as well. But as far as I know, Dota's skins economy is nowhere near as aggressive or predatory as Counter-Strike's, or at least overwhelming in that sense. So, apologies if this video is a little messy. Again, my steak is sizzling in the background. I better go check on that before that thing becomes well done and I gotta throw it away. But what do you think, Internet Wanderer? Do you agree with what I've said here? What are your thoughts on this entire skins economy crash? I might get some backlash for my opinion here, but I also think that a lot of people will agree. If you're one of those who spent thousands of dollars on Counter-Strike market skins or whatever, I'm sorry, but at the same time, I guess you gotta play the game. I'm sorry, but I guess you gotta go play the game now, which does suck because Valve isn't updating Counter-Strike 2 nearly as much as they should, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching, Internet Wanderer. Do the YouTube things.